A silent emergency is unfolding across the nation, one that grows more visible with every passing month. In cities, suburbs, and rural towns alike, Americans are facing a crisis that stretches far beyond anything seen in recent decades. Tents line sidewalks, cars double as bedrooms. Families who once lived stable lives now struggle just to stay housed. The paycheck-to-paycheck system, once difficult but survivable, has collapsed under the weight of rising costs, unstable wages, and a fragile economy. Today, millions are slipping into homelessness, not because they aren't working, but because survival itself has become unaffordable. This is the countdown of the 10 forces driving America's homelessness crisis in 2025, and why so many can no longer hold on to the lives they once had. 10. The vanishing middle class. The American middle class, long the backbone of the country, is eroding faster than expected. Families earning what once felt like safe incomes now struggle with essential expenses: rent, food, transportation, insurance, and utilities. A single emergency can trigger total financial collapse. With fewer households able to maintain stability, homelessness is rising in communities once considered secure. Sign. Rent increases outrunning wages. In 2025, rent has reached its highest levels in U.S. history. But wages have fallen behind, leaving millions spending over half their income just to keep a home. As rents climb faster than paychecks, evictions rise, relocations spike, and entire neighborhoods change overnight. For many, the math no longer works, and homelessness becomes a matter of time. 8. The affordable housing shortage. America's housing shortage is decades deep, and it's now reaching a breaking point. Construction delays, high building costs, and investor-owned properties have squeezed the supply of affordable homes. As a result, waiting lists stretch endlessly, shelters overflow, and families run out of options. The crisis is no longer coming, it is fully here. Gig work and unstable income. Millions rely on gig jobs for survival. Delivery apps, rideshare driving, contract work, and temporary labor. These jobs offer no stability, no benefits, and unpredictable income. When money rises and falls weekly, planning becomes impossible, and saving becomes a luxury. A slow week can push someone from barely surviving into financial freefall. Medical debt and healthcare costs. America's healthcare system remains a major driver of financial ruin. One medical emergency, one surgery, one illness can drain savings instantly. Families who fall behind on medical debt often fall behind on rent, creating a domino effect that leads straight to homelessness. This crisis hits hardest for those already living on thin margins. The eviction surge. Following the end of pandemic-era protections, evictions have surged nationwide. Landlords have raised rents, tightened requirements, and increased screenings, leaving millions with fewer paths back into stable housing. Once an eviction is on your record, landlords can legally refuse you for years. This trap forces countless families into long-term homelessness. Vehicles becoming homes. A growing number of Americans are living in their cars, vans, or RVs, not by choice, but by necessity. Parking lots, highway pull-offs, and hidden backroads have become makeshift communities. These aren't wanderers. They are working parents, retirees on fixed incomes, students, and laid-off workers struggling to stay afloat. A vehicle is often the last barrier before the streets. 3. Overwhelmed social support systems, shelters are full. Motels used for emergency housing are booked. Assistance programs are underfunded and understaffed. People who seek help often wait months they simply don't have. The support system meant to prevent homelessness is collapsing under the weight of unprecedented demand. The decline of full-time employment. Companies across America continue replacing full-time jobs with part-time and temporary roles. These positions offer lower pay, fewer hours, no benefits, and no financial protection. Millions who work multiple jobs still cannot cover rising costs. Homelessness today is not just about unemployment, it is about underemployment destroying financial stability. The reality of paycheck-to-paycheck living. At number 1 is the deepest truth behind the crisis. Most Americans now live paycheck to paycheck, and that paycheck can no longer support a stable life. The smallest disruption, A rent increase, a medical bill, a missed shift, a broken car can pull a family into a downward spiral. These are not isolated stories. This is a national pattern. Millions are living one small disaster away from losing everything. And in 2025, that disaster has arrived for far too many. America's homelessness crisis is growing, not because people aren't working, but because the economy no longer supports the most basic human need, shelter. Rising costs, unstable wages, and collapsing support systems have created a historic emergency affecting every corner of the nation. Unless major change comes, this crisis will continue to expand, reshaping the future of American society in ways few are prepared to face.